Trigger warning. The following content may discuss sensitive topics such as mental health, abuse, violence. Please proceed with caution and take care of yourself. If you feel uncomfortable, it's okay to step away.
Happen, and then I'd called my mum, and my friend in Birmingham, she called my mum and said, you need to go and find her. She's in a hotel, but I don't know where she is. But my mum and my brother got in the car and they drove around everywhere, and they found my car in the car park. So then she's called my phone, this is when he's now back in the room when my mum has come and to the car park. Like, we've had this, so he has turned up late at night at whatever time, I don't know, he's turned up and we've just started arguing. It's a straight argument, and I did slap him. I did try my best to slap him and attack him with my hands because I've had enough of you crap. Yeah. But he caught it every time, and he did pin me down. He'd pin me down on the bed to restrain me. He was restraining me. He didn't smash the glass in my face on the bed. That never happened. But we then was fighting. But when I say fighting, it's verbal, and then it's me trying to attack him because he's just openly laughing about things and he's not bothered, and he just didn't care. And the £500 that we had for a deposit for the house viewing that I went to by myself, he'd spent it on his habit. And then because he didn't have his top on, I could see the habit on his body, and I'd never really seen it before. I didn't know what I was looking at, and then it started to make sense. Like, you inject, you do this, you do that. Like, you've been doing this in prison. Like, he just massively changed, and I didn't see it because he was in jail. And then we've had this fight, and then my mum has called. My mum ordered me a pizza. So at the time, because he says he's Muslim, I went downstairs. My mum was downstairs, and she ordered me a pepperoni pizza on purpose because she didn't want me to share it with him. And I was like, don't worry, I'm going to get my money and my phone. I'm going to come back. That's the last time she saw me that day, and she thought everything was fine. And then I've gone back to the room. The argument's getting worse. He's ripped the headboard off the wall. He's ripped the phone out the wall because the pizza people have called and said we're outside. He didn't want to accept the pizza. He didn't want me to leave the room. The argument's just getting worse. And we're arguing just about him cheating and lying and stealing my money and not answering the phone and having a thingy problem. And then the argument's just got worse and worse. And I had on, like, I don't know, like probably black leggings. And I think I put his jumper on, and I had shoes, so I looked like a donut. But I just picked up one bag. I don't know why. I just picked up a bag and I went to leave. And we started arguing, or he was talking about something. I don't know what. And he's said what he said, but he's already picked. So in the corner of the room, we had the champagne, the drinks, whatever we had, and the glasses were there because one second. My son is just shouting at me. Let me just I saw my son out. 1 second.
Yeah, so anybody who doesn't know, this is about this Mr. M that does the catchphrase on here. This is the newspaper article, and he even admitted to doing all of this, but he just tried to turn it around in a different way. So this brave young woman here just wants to come on and set a few things straight, because obviously he was live last night and she was saying there was loads of lies told, so it's her chance now to give. Yeah, Alex, have you got a photo of him? The other one where the photo is. Alex?
Sorry, Pearl. Yeah, I'm back now. Sorry, 1 sec.
Have you got the other one where the photo is?
Yeah, I'm going to put it up now.
Ah. That's him there, everybody. But he comes on here and you don't see his face, and he's got like this big hat. He does catchphrase. He goes around.
He put his profile up so then people know what profile to look for and be aware to stay away.
Yeah, if someone could send me a picture. Oh no, I've tried my number and also.
King of Kings, have you got it? The profile what he was on, you have, haven't you?
I'll go out the box now. I'm going to get one and then come back.
Right. Okie doke, me baby, and then I'll put you in the big box. Is it? Yeah. Hey, everyone. But yeah, so, and like I say, but this is the monster that's fooling everybody on the app. He's still on the app. I follow him. Yeah, that's him. But the best thing for you to do is to go unfollow him, block him, and report his page, because he's been putting his subs up to £10 a time now. People who's like invested in him is paying all this, but he has lots. Some of his mods and somebody who was in a sub chat in here after Mrs. Walters has finished with hers, then you can hear from them. But he's manipulating people left, right, and centre, and it's just he's going to come across somebody again, and who's for us to say what's going to happen. So the more of these awarenesses that can be done to keep away from this devil, the better on it. So right there, he's my king.
Here we go.
That's it, thank you.
Right, I'll get it now, 1 second.
But this is the profile that everybody is should be keeping away from, not going into his room. Don't even ghost watch him, because honestly, when you start listening, do you know, when I first come across him, he came into the room, that's it there, he came into the room, and you know, a voice that has your full attention.
Very calming, and it draws you in.
Let me just take this person out. That's aggravating. I for the blue and pink.
It's a big disappointment that he's still got that many followers.
Yeah.
I've just got a notification come through. It's actually gone live now.
Because he's trying to expose me and you, Jess, because obviously we'd been messaging in between group chats. I just want to make this aware. On that morning,
He's only
I was
gone live
aware
now
of it.
because of me. That's all,
Yeah.
because he doesn't want people to think bad of him. That's what he's doing.
Trying to cover his tracks again.
Honestly, send him here and let him just talk. Like, he tells so many lies, and I can go word for word with this man over the lies he has told.
See, I wouldn't even allow him onto my platform. And do you know for why? Because, firstly, I have too much respect for myself to sit with basically a monster, in my opinion, to sit with him on my platform, where a decent, respectable young woman is like yourself, where he's actually he's took your eyesight away from you. So... I don't get how he has got the audacity to come on live and still to try and spin things his way and manipulate people and get people in. And the things that he was doing to his mods and in these group chats things was disgusting. But do you want to carry on where you left off? Sorry, me baby, go on.
So yeah, the argument's happening. I've gone to leave, and so the reason the glass was in the room was because I'd bought the champagne, the drink and whatever, and because he hadn't turned up, I'd sat at the bar, then I took my drink to the room. That's how the glass got there.
Yeah.
And then he stood in the corner, and I'm at the door, and he said something. I've turned around, but he's already launched the glass, and I turned around and it's hit me straight in my face and it's knocked me out. Him saying it hit the wall is the biggest lie before Jesus Christ was even born. It never hit the wall. It impacted on my face. The glass smashed in my face. That's why I have all the cuts and all the scars on my face. It knocked me out, and at first, obviously, none of us really know what's happened. Like, it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then I've woke up and I'm on the floor, and he's come running over and he's screaming and he's upset, and then we've both he's seen my face, and then I've crawled to the bathroom to see my face. And this is why when the officer asked me, did he attack me in more than one place because of the blood trail? And I've said no, because he didn't. It was because I crawled from the floor to the bathroom. I've sat there, I've tried to wipe my face. I've then crawled from the bathroom back to the living room, the hotel room. And I'm sitting on the bed. Because now it took seconds before the police and the hotel staff and the police was at the door. We didn't have time to process it, because the people was in the rooms, this side, that side, I've called the police. My friend has called the police, and my mum's called the police because the pizza didn't get delivered. I'm not answering my phone. And somebody, my mum or my friend, had called my phone. I think it was my friend, and he answered it and said, Natalie's not talking. blah, blah, blah. So he's telling my, so that's why my friend called my mum, and which is why they then came looking for me, and they drove around all the hotels in Derby, and they found my car in the car park, and that's how she found me.
Yeah.
And then it was just within seconds, the police are at the door, and but I'm telling him, you need to, before the police come, I'm telling him, you need to call the ambulance. And he's got the phone and he's calling them, but he said he did not know what had happened to me. He has found me like this, and that is because he was on bail. He's just been released 48 hours from prison. You lying, because you know once you say that, the police are coming, as well as you're going back to prison, and the ambulance. So he's called the ambulance, and when he's saying, I've just found her like this. I'm trying to shout and say, no, you did this. And then he sat with me on the floor, and obviously he's crying. He's upset because he can see what he's done to me. And then within seconds, the police are banging on the door saying, Corey, you need to open the door. And he's like, no, you're just going to arrest me. I haven't done anything wrong. I can't shout loud enough now because I am in consciousness. Like, I don't know what is going on. And because I'd been drinking, my heart is racing. I'm hot. I'm sweating. And I just know my face is pounding. And he's there talking to the police officers saying, if you don't open the door, blah, blah, blah. But then they've talked him round. He's opened the door. It took them less than a second to pin him down on that floor and arrest him. And they took him in the room next door, and they're asking him what's happened. And he's crying and he's shouting and he's saying, I didn't do it. It was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. And so then the officers are sitting with me, and they're trying to like look at my face, and they put a jumper on me. And because when I'd seen my face, I took my jumper off. So now I was just bare chest. I didn't have a bra on. I didn't have any of that on. And I was just bare chest sitting there with the officer. So she put a jumper on me, a t-shirt, whatever she put back on me. And but they're taking pictures of my face and putting like those rulers against it. And they're taking pictures of the room. And then they've called my mum on the house number. And my mum's answered, and they're like, Miss Hudson, we need to speak to you. Your daughter's been in an accident. She's going to hospital. My mum's like, no, she isn't. She's at the hotel. She's fine. I saw her, let's say an hour, 45, however long ago. And the officer's saying, no, she's going to hospital. The ambulance is on its way. She's been injured. So then my mum is now obviously upset. She doesn't understand how this has happened, because she came to get me. And obviously it wasn't that long before I've said, oh, don't worry about it, I'll be home. So then they've taken him out into the van. I'm assuming they came in the van, I don't know. They've taken him out. And then because of the state of my face, I told them I don't want to walk through this hotel looking like this. So they put a blanket over my face, and they escorted me out the hotel. And it was like a parade. Like the hotel staff was standing there. Some of the people, whoever had called, they're all standing there in a line, and they're looking at me. But I've got the blanket over my face, and I've looked at them, and I've looked back down. She's like, don't worry about it, just get in the van, the ambulance. So I've got in the ambulance, and I'm lying there. And every time I'm blinking, my eye's bleeding because it's damaged and it's destroyed. Then I'm having like palpitations, thinking I'm going to die. And I was just freaking out. And because there's glass still in my eye, so every time I move it or blink, or like when you blink when your eye is closed and you blink with your other eye, the eye that is closed still blinks naturally, because like they work together. And so I'm blinking and it's bleeding. I'm blinking and bleeding. And then I've got to the hospital. I'm in a side bay or whatever.
People are saying it's mass reporting, so can you be careful of the words you're using, love? I don't want you to get banned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's mass reporting my account.
Yeah.
It's to try and stop you from talking.
Yeah. So just be careful with the words you're using, like talking code, we'll get it.
Oh God, I don't know how you do that. I'm not used to it. I'll try.
Yeah. Like, don't say the, like, call it claret.
In the background, just having a little listen.
Call it
Anything
claret.
important, I'll let you know.
Oh, thank you. So yes, I got there, and then my mum turned up, and my mum doesn't cry. She's a very strong woman. If you fall over, she's like, get up, don't cry, move on with it. And my mum came, and her face just dropped, and she couldn't believe it, because she'd seen me less than however many hours ago. And then the nurse and doctors have come round, and with it, you can see that this is not fixable. We can help you, but it's not fixable at all. And so I was admitted into hospital. I stayed there for a week. And the first couple of days, you can't operate on me because the swelling had to go down. So when I've gone into the bathroom to look at my face, it took me 2 days. So the original picture that people have seen
Yeah.
That took me 2 or 3 days to take because I couldn't go in the lights. My room was dark. I couldn't have a light. I couldn't handle it. The first picture I took, I'd gone to the bathroom and looked at my face, and I couldn't believe it because I hadn't looked at my face this whole time. Other than initially in the hotel room. After that, I didn't look at it. And then my family came and my brothers came and everybody was crying. And one of the girls that he lied to and dated and blah blah blah, she came to the hospital to see me, and she was great. It was lovely, and she took care of me. She brushed my hair, and it was nice. And then I had to see the MSK people, which is musculoskeletal something like that. But that's because my eyelid was slit, my eyebrow was slit. My eyeball he'd fractured my eye socket, and my eyeball had drooped down, so it was hanging within my face. And so I had to see the MSK people to arrange the operation for my plate to go in. So the first operation I had was either to sew my eyebrow, but I think that was a very quick one. And then the next one I had was to sew my eyelid back together because it had split. I've got scars in both of them too, they are there. And then I've had that operation on those two. Then I've gone home for a while because I had to wait for the swelling to go down before I could have the next surgery. In the time I've gone home, he has found a phone on Facebook. He's found a phone of where he was, and he's messaging me profusely saying how sorry he is. He's going to plead guilty. He's sorry, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember what I've said to him, but it wasn't nice what I've said back. I probably did call him a bunch of names and tell him, I hope you die, I hope you whatever. I probably did. And then whilst I was at home waiting for the operation, the blood pressure in my brain was the pressure in my brain was swelling because I was having a headache and it was too painful. So I'm telling my mum there's a problem, something's wrong. Because I was living at my mum's house and she was taking care of me, and all my friends was coming round, bringing me flowers and taking care of me. And then the pressure in my brain started to swell. So I've gone back to the hospital straight away, and they've said that the pressure, let's say for example, the pressure in your brain isn't supposed to go above 21. Mine was on 54. My brain was swelling because the fluid was coming out, but it had nowhere to go. So my brain was swelling. So then I had an emergency operation to have laser eye surgery where they burnt holes into my eye to reduce the pressure off my brain.
Yeah.
So I had that operation. Then I've had the metal plate put in, however many weeks later, to put my eye back together. Once that had settled down and calmed down, I had my cataracts so it happened in November, probably about April, May time. Oh, my son is here. Let me just mute 1 second, sorry. Hold on.
It's absolutely fine. Oh, this is sickening, isn't it? Yes, he's live, he's playing a game, that's what he's playing. He plays these catchphrase games. Absolutely. Listen.
Him playing the game now shows how manipulative he is. He literally does not give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's not playing any games at the minute. It sounds like he's out in a restaurant and he's talking about the Discord and people asking him questions about it, where's it gone and stuff.
But Jess, you weren't a mod, were you? Were you just somebody who was a prescriber and you was in the
I subscribed to him, yeah. I played his game every single night, every day. Like, I was there in people's lives, his live, every day for about 2 months.
But didn't he used to give phone calls to certain people and tell them what he was going to say when he come in this group chat?
Yeah, so every time before we went live, if there was any sort of drama or anything like that, there was... So he had a group chat. He's got Discord, but it's not set up properly. He had a Snapchat group chat. And he used to ring us on there and give his versions of events before it came live. And we had phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he used to tell us if he was going into somebody's live what we had to spam. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to ask you what words he used to make you spam, in the chat, if it was on anybody's platform.
So he chose it every single time. So it could be Mr. M wants to play a catchphrase. Do you want to play a catchphrase? Get Mr. M or prize Mr. M. It could be anything. It was different each time.
Wasn't he telling you who you could message and what you could say as well?
Yeah. So we in the group rules, and I have tried to search these, but again, because it's on Snapchat, you can't go back. Because once the chat's left, it's gone. We wasn't allowed to speak to each other outside of the group chat. We wasn't allowed to discuss things. So I had that phone call with him, with 2 of his mods, and he had me in tears. He ripped me a fucking new one. And I wasn't allowed to discuss that with anybody else. We couldn't speak amongst ourselves. We wasn't allowed.
Yeah, because he used to say this one's been saying that.
Now I'm saying it, sorry pal, now I'm saying it, I just think what a fucking idiot I have been, because it is huge red flags.
Yeah, but that just shows you how controlling he was. And if you can do that with somebody like in mods and just people who like are in his room, imagine what he can do like when it's your partner. And it's sick, really, isn't it? It's sick. Yeah.
I got ripped a new one, Lou, for basically swearing in his life, not acting appropriately.
He's sending people over to
his comments that was spammed in his live, and apparently they came from me.
If I get bananaed, everybody, sorry, just 1 second. If I do get bananaed, I'll be on the same name backup account.
Or you can use mine, pal, whichever.
If you want to share it between
my son played the game as well, and he used to say, get Dan in. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's get Dan to play. And I used to say to him, look, it's coming on 11 o'clock now. It's a school night. Dan's not being in. Can Dan come in the box? Because I need to get him to bed. He's 15 and he loved the game.
Yeah.
And he used to have a go at me for putting that in his comments. Like, we couldn't do anything. We couldn't breathe. And when he used to speak to us on the group calls as well, he used to say to us, let me explain this in a way that you lot will understand.
Wow. Just very, like, cold and controlling.
And I just thought that was the way he spoke. Do you know what I mean?
And yet when you hear him, he does not come across that way at all. So he's a proper little, in my opinion, a proper little con artist, knows how to speak to people, tells you what you want to hear. So he comes across as the nicest person you've ever heard. And that was me the first time I heard him. It was like you wanted to hear more. He grabbed your attention that much. Nobody had seen him. He was on a green screen, but that's just what he done with his voice. You want my
I thought it was an absolute breath of fresh air.
1 second, Jess. You won.
You know, oh, sorry, King, go on.
Go on, Chip. No, go on, you.
No, I just wanted to ask, like, I'd like to know this. It comes across with this soft voice and soothing personality, but I would like to know if that's his real personality, his real voice, or is it done for TikTok? I would really like to know that.
When we've had calls and stuff, his voice has never changed. I will say that.
At the minute now, he's talking about the NDAs he was making us mod sign. The non-disclosure agreements.
Can we play him?
Nice, man. Imagine, imagine giving out NDAs. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking shocking.
I just...
I don't know if he's got it in trial, but he was arrested 6 months ago for assault on another woman.
When you're in that chat with him and all that, right, and then he's telling you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't speak to this person, this is how you must speak, blah, blah. Did that not raise some real concerns when he did that straight away?
I think for me personally, I can't speak on anybody else. For me personally, I was so desperate to get that hat. And when he had that massive go at me, it was made out it was my fault. I'd done wrong. And it was my fault. Do you know what I mean?
So you kept us all at a certain level where he was blaming you all for different things, and then you had to prove yourself. Wow. It was like a cult when you think about it.
It is. Looking back, I'm discussing with myself. I'm also a survivor of DV, and looking back, I just think, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like...
But isn't there a lot of these mods in there who's gone through DV as well?
90% of them in that call on Friday when all this came out and he was explaining himself, 90% of people in there were saying that they've either gone through domestic violence themselves or they've witnessed their parents go through it. When a male tried to join, Chippy will know who he is, Teeth and Jerry, he kicked him out of the group call, and he said that he wanted to speak to him separately. He would not allow any male in that group call at all. He only wanted to speak to the women.
Wow. Lady B, you were one of his mods, weren't you?
I was, but I didn't sign an NDA and I was never offered one, so I can't give any information on that. But I do know a couple of girls that were, and because they refused, they got called weird, shunned away, and then harassed too. Why don't you just sign it? Why don't you just sign it? It's not a big deal. So,
people's passports and driving licenses, addresses and photo IDs, and like keeping them as well.
I've never disclosed any of my stuff like that to him. Like, he doesn't even know me on a first name basis, to be fair, if I'm honest. But I was recently a mod, but I have been around. So he made the game a year ago in March, and I've been around in that game since August, September time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a good fair while. And he would make it like me and Jess, we were ops against each other basically in that game. We're good friends, don't get me wrong, but we were very much put against each other, and that to fight for this hat that we must get, and that and it would always be made a big thing. And then when I was given the mod, I was put into the group. And we were messaged, like there's mods that keep coming in that are his mods now that'll go, I can't believe you're saying all this. Like there were times where we were sent people's lives, like people along the lines as well of like Dutchavelli, Princess Dimes, and a few other people's at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning saying, can you go and spam let Mr. M in the box? Can you go and spam this? Can you go and do that? There was only one time where there was a 3 a.m. group call that I can recall, and I didn't answer it, because who's answering a phone at 3 o'clock in the morning, please?
Not me, because if my phone rung, I think there was something wrong.
So is it true that some of his mods are family? And do you,
I believe so.
And did they tend to try and control it as well?
Yeah.
Mozzie is related to him.
Yeah. And you try and control everything as well as yeah. So
Mozzie runs his Sunday show. Sunday is called Mozzie Sundays, and it is a catchphrase, and Mozzie runs that on his platform.
Wow.
He was very, like you said, Poe, after listening to him, so you could, like, he's the kind of person whose voice sounds quite calm, and you could fall asleep and listen to that person for quite a while. And the way he speaks and the way he portrays himself isn't somebody that you would think is capable of all the things that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, when you listen to him, he's not like all of you have heard him when he's been in this live. I've went over when I was into Top Girls live and playing a game, and he comes across very nice.
Apparently, it's going around now saying that somebody has known all along everything, but he's not revealing it yet.
He said
what?
That he paid Top Girl.
Oh, listen, if he's done that, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in here. If he's done Top Girl, why isn't he shown the payment transfers then?
Because it wasn't done like that. So he actually did. I can vouch as well for another lady. Her name is Mum on Strike. He went and played in there. Do you remember that, Jess?
Yeah.
This lady had to pay for her community to be able to engage in that game 2 galaxies to him. So things were done via gifts rather than any form of transfer.
Well, I'm telling you now, and I don't care what any of you say, Top Girl, I'm sorry, was told just like Alicia was.
Yes, we were all in the same live. I was in the live. Top Girl was sat in a box next to him, and we was all spun this narrative.
Yous were told the same thing. Definitely not
the only time it came to light was on Thursday, and he tried to get Alicia on side on Thursday evening, and she had family issues and she was like, look, he went to her, look, the ex-mods have made an account and they've posted this about me and that, please can you defend me? And she said, well, I can't until I've read it. And that's what she did, and she sat on it, and then obviously it all came to light on Friday. So she was completely oblivious. And listen, I'm not going to sit there and say that on Friday morning that I've said it throughout the whole thing, like before I actually done my research, and it wasn't until around about lunchtime-ish that I did do my research just after, I was defending this guy, and I did send him a message saying, do you know what, I support you because you said you changed and rah, 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 because if someone's portraying that they're this person that's been through and they've made all these, like they've done all this bad stuff, but they're genuinely trying to change, and you, as like I believe people can, I stood by that until
There's no way. There's no way in hell that TG. There's no way in hell that TG was paid off, took any money to be silent or anything. That's absolute crap.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I've said
You had to give one at a time. Nobody can hear. Sorry, go on. One at a time. Go on, Alex.
Can I just say quickly, I didn't say he paid Top Girl to keep quiet. What I'm saying is what he has said to us.
Yeah.
I just want to make that clear because the comments are making out like I've accused Top Girl. I haven't.
Yeah, we very much stand by Top Girl. She's not. She was as oblivious as everybody else.
Life on it. She was not paid off. That's how confident
I don't believe it.
No.
Me too. And so is he supposed to be coming out now with all this new evidence, what he's saying? That's to keep people hooked and, like, wanting to know more. Honest to God, what a crafty.
It's just a typical narcissism, isn't it? You know what I mean? He wants full control. He wants people to believe what he's saying, like he's done for numerous times to all these victims and women that he's got around him. You know what I mean? Unfortunately,
I'm going to drop down because I'm in the middle of...
Before you go, can you just explain what went on in January, please? Because you know...
Oh, right, yeah. So in January, he fired up the live. We was all called on a group call and he was like, look, I've got something very important to tell you all, please be in this live. So we was there. He fired up the live. He had Top Girl sat there. Top Girl had her microphone off the whole time. She didn't speak. He spoke. And basically he said that he'd fallen out with a couple of mods and they were going around and they were doing things and people were bad mouthing him and that. And basically the story that people were saying were not as bad. So he wanted to say his piece. And his piece was, there are articles and that, but no, he wouldn't just show no one the articles or anything. The articles that he states that were a lie, where he attacked this woman, is what the article says. He says no. What happened was basically he met her, like the same situation that he said. He was with her for a little while, then they split up, and then he ended up in prison. And when he was in prison, he reverted to Islam. He married this lady, I believe, I don't know if it was you or the other lady in question, through Islamic law in prison. And when you came out of prison, obviously you went to the hotel. In the hotel you found this black book, and in the black book had all these numbers, and you found the number for a woman who you then called, and she basically said that she was his wife. That's it. So yeah, it was the other lady that was married. So that this lady was his wife, and that you got mad at him and you attacked him. He had to restrain you. You then went to leave. And I don't know if people know, but the key cards, if you put a key card in the door on the outside, it turns the light off. So he said that what had happened was when she'd gone out of the room and put the key card in the door to lock the door, it turns the lights off automatically, and he threw the glass. He didn't know she was in the room because the lights were off and the glass smashed on the wall and a shard hit her in the eye. That was his version of events. He said he then went on to comfort her, to make sure she was okay and that, and he was begging to help her and rah, 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 and all this other crap that he ran with. The COVID situation that he spoke about, he said that during COVID, he obviously he was on drugs and he ended up in a drug-induced psychosis. In this psychosis, he said that he thought there was like 6 people masked up chasing him through a hospital because he was already admitted to this hospital. And part of the hospital was cornered off because of coronavirus, and he tried to run into that part, and that's when security had grabbed him. He's tried to say that it was never a nurse, it was an NHS worker, and he's stating it was the security, and that he was in a state of psychosis. And then what happened was he went to jail, and he come out from that one in 2022 and has spent the past 3 years reforming himself as a person and become an advocate for other perpetrators who commit these kind of crimes against people or do this, when actually You was arrested 6 months ago for assaulting somebody.
Can I just add with the NHS one as well? He did actually admit to biting one of the NHS workers too.
Yeah.
When you read the article, you can quite clearly read in the article exactly how things happened. It's not how we put it.
Yeah.
No.
He said that when he spat in the person's face, he couldn't have spat in their face because he had a mask on.
Yeah, he spat into the mask, not into their face.
Do you know when he's telling everybody it was an accident? What is it? What's in the paper, Chippy? It's a blunt force trauma.
Yes, it's a blunt force trauma, which basically means something hit. It's not blunt force if it's secondary.
Yeah. So how he's saying it hit the wall and the slither of glass.
What he's saying is it was an accident and he never intended to hurt her, when actually you had full intent, because once that, you must have done that with some force as well for it to hit the way it has. Yeah. I'm sorry, that's intent.
So that's what he was trying to do. That's what it was, he's lying.
Do you know what, right? Look at the article and close in on the injury. You can quite clearly see that that's a direct hit. That's not a shard that's hit her. You can quite clearly see that is straight full force on.
As soon as you have that glass in your hand and you threw it in the direction, obviously in the direction of Miss Waters, that was the mistake there. You know what I mean? There's no need for any of that to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, he's definitely a liar because, like I said, he was charged with blunt force trauma. So that's a direct thing. So nothing could have been hit off a wall and then gone back. So it's lies. And it's in the paper to say that it's lies.
Somebody was pointing out there that no reputable news outlets were reporting on him or have ever reported on him. You just need to go to the BBC, the ITVX, etc., the press release.
Just type his name in on Google.
Yeah, when he went to court for the NHS thing, he actually had 12 other convictions. And one was throwing around a large weapon which rhymes with Hamashima. I don't know how to say it.
Like confetti.
Confetti.
Like confetti, yeah.
Confetti, yeah.
I once damaged my eye. I'll tell you that now. I damaged my eye with some wire and stuff. The same sort of thing, the principle, as if a piece of glass had gone in, which cut on my eye. I had to have an operation on it. There is no way that has been done by an indirect shard.
Absolutely. Do you want to finish what you were saying now? Sorry about that.
I'm going to drop down because I've got some dinner, but I'm in the comments.
Hey, not a problem. But listen, thank you very, very much for coming up. And like I said, don't worry, we'll always have you back. You want to come up any other time, not a problem, right?
No worries. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Give me Waters.
Bye. Sorry, what were you saying there? Because it just looked a bit ignorant, speaking around her. But yeah, so for all of his lies, everybody, this is what he's done, and he's took a young, beautiful lady's eyesight away from her. And he'll have you believe that it was an accident, he didn't mean it. And then if you read the newspaper article, he can't, put he was charged with this if he wasn't. Them's the facts that he was charged with.
He's also blaming it on the fact that Miss Walters has got other charges, which I'm not going into, that's up to her, but that happened years later and that's why she's lying.
Well, you've got Selena in the Charleston
conviction, yes. Yeah, one conviction that happened 4 years prior to now, before I had my son. Oh God! So I lost a child.
Into it, Miss Walters. I'm just saying,
because he throws things to deflect, and it's not going to wash with me. So I was pregnant. I lost a child. In the same week, I got made redundant, and both my grandparents got diagnosed with cancer, and I lost my job. So I lost my mind, and I didn't handle it very well, and I made stupid choices, and I went and partook in something that makes you extra money that I shouldn't have done. And I then was handed a 2-year suspended sentence and put on tag for 6 months. That was 4 years ago. I've never been arrested before in my life, never since, never after. That was one isolated incident. And I had to go on courses to deal with my emotions. And when I was on that course, they wanted me to speak about my domestic violence. And I said I didn't want to. That was 4 or 5 years prior at that point. I don't need to speak about that. I'm healed. When I'm sitting in probation, monthly or weekly, sorry, they're asking me, how do you feel? I said, I'm not here for that. I'm here because I made a choice to go and do X, Y, and Z. And so for him to bring up that conviction, that's absolutely fine. I really don't care. That has
he was making out, though, that that's the reason you lied about it. So he was making out that happened at the time, not years later.
If you honestly, it sounds horrible. I don't even really want to say it, but if you put my name into Google, it will tell you the year that I did my conviction, the year I got it. It is 4 years. Well, it happened 4 years ago, so
It makes no odds what you've been to do.
like 6 years.
It makes no odds. The same as it doesn't make odds for anything else. But what we thinking here for is trying to say that was an accident. It wasn't. This is what he does to women. He's being charged for. He's been in prison for lots of different things, and he's just a basic liar and a monster that nobody should be going near on this app, in my opinion. Sorry, Mrs. Walters. Go on.
No, you're all right.
No, go on. Alex and King of Kings, keep an eye for 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
What else did he say? He said that I was homeless. I remember that. That's an absolute lie. If anything, all my friends and everyone from Derby that knows him, this man is a bum. From the scooter, from the drains. This man has, because of his addiction, he has gone from home to home, whether it's been, what do you call it, when you're a kid, foster home, to jail, to woman after woman after woman after bouncing around. This man has never had a property in his name. He's never had a flat in his name. He's never had a car in his name. He's never had anything. And he's been to prison that many times, and he's fooled a lot of women in Derby. It's not just me, but mine is the more aggressive and what's the word, domestic version. There are plenty of other women that he has abused in other ways, whether it's financial, whether it's this or that.
Can I ask you a question, Miss Waters?
Yeah.
You know, I just want to go back to, you know, you said he was in prison for the robbery, and
Yes.
the whole of Derby knows what it was. It was just, are you allowed to say what it was?
It was a robbery. It's just who he robbed from.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
Did you say who it was, or is it out there somewhere?
It was his grandma.
All right, okay.
It was his grandma, which is why a lot of his family don't deal with him, because he did that. So, yeah.
And do you feel like he's tried to shut you down before you can even get a word out?
I don't know, honestly. Because I'm used to him and I know what he's like, I really don't care what he does. But because he has brought this to TikTok for people to dig into, and I'm not used to people talking about me this much online. Like, it's strange, but because he's brought it here the way he has, there's a lot of things that he's lying about that I'm not going to accept that he's lying about. I'm not having it. Like,
what has he been saying? Like what you saying he's been like? Because I haven't watched him. I don't know what he's been saying.
The whole thing in court where the judge pulled up next to me, that's a lie. The court session being stopped because my victim impact statement was null because they could see that I drove there. Me being homeless, complete lie. I've never been homeless. That man has lived with more women than you've had at dinners. He doesn't own a penny to his name. He's always been a criminal, a mastermind criminal. He has floated his way through life.
Yeah.
But he's very successful at it. What else has he lied about? I'm trying to think. He said he didn't get out of prison until 7 o'clock at night. That's a lie. That's probably the time frame of when I've dropped him off to that house. He's lied about how the glass bounced off the wall. That's a lie. He lied about how I've tried to milk it to say that I'm not blind, and how I tried to get more money. Because in the video that has been shared, he said, now, I'm not trying to say she milked it, but what she did was, you're full of shit. Stop lying. I didn't milk. For me to have milked the government court system, I have to prove with paperwork and medical evidence of what is happening. Yeah. That wasn't down to me. It was my solicitor that said, Natalie, go and claim this money. And I didn't do it for over a year and a half. That's why it took me, by the time I got it, it was 2 years later, because I wasn't bothered. I didn't care about the money. I'd rather have my eyesight back. And I had to spend a lot of time adjusting to having one eye. And at first, when my eye was how it was. My friends have got pictures of it, and it is disgusting.
Yeah.
My eye sits to that, like my eye basically sat in the corner of my eye. Like one eye would look at you, and one eye went the other way.
Yeah.
And it was like that for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's why I have two types of glasses, but both of my glasses have completely different lenses from the left to the right. They're very different lenses. Yeah. And when it happened, I had to have this, you know those toys when you're a child and it's like a long tube and you look through it with one eye and you twist it and all the magnetic things come on and it changes and like your vision is very distorted. It's like pyramid stuff. I had one of those put over my glasses and amazingly it dragged my eye back to the middle, which is why it sits in the center now. It never used to. It used to sit to the left. I couldn't be in bright rooms for a very long time. The plate is in my face, so I did have 4 stitches in my eyeball to hold my lens in place, but over time it's moved and I only have 2 because now the other 2 got removed.
Yeah.
I have a lot of eye infections. My eyes it can be very bright red. It gets very tired. My good eye gets very tired because it's working extra for my other eye. And I was about to tell you something. What was it? My eye, my job changed. I did work at Sky, and I had 3 months off work because of I couldn't go to work. It just didn't happen. And luckily Sky took me back and I stayed there for 2 years. I'm not sure what else he's lied about. I've watched the videos and he's just downplayed his part in it. Like he's give you breadcrumbs from a whole packet of bread. That's all he's done because he doesn't want people to know the depths of what he's done.
He's been drip feeding people bits that he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's told us his story of events and he's downplayed it dramatically.
Yeah.
Absolutely dramatically. And like I say, I was at work on that Friday and I was watching the videos on the FYP. And then I went into his group call where he downplayed. He was just like, yeah, she's a victim and I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. But he downplayed it massively compared to actually what's happened.
The thing for me, sorry.
He does. He doesn't ever want to take accountability for anything. And that's how he managed to trick one of my best friends into believing the flat that she's in is his when it was my flat that they was in. He just took all my pictures down. And my other friend that he'd slept with, like he will work his way through everybody. And he's very good at it. He's very good at talking. He will get you under a spell with it. He's just a very good talker. He's extremely well at it.
That's what I'm asking in the questions here. How did this come to the app? Like, how was it?
I don't know. I got tagged. My friend sent me a video of Haley Comet's post. That's how I found out.
It was his ex-mods.
Right.
His ex-mods found out. There was something with a live in January that he did on subs only, I believe. I don't know, I wasn't in that live. And his ex-mods have been, so Batman, I don't know if they're in the chat, has been trying to expose this for months.
Is Batman in the chat or not?
I'm not sure. Batman and Powerpuff, I think they are alongside each other. Yeah, so the ex-mods brought it. The ex-mods started posting things, and actually what made him talk was when we was in a live, this was before Jess come about, and he was running the game, people kept coming in and writing little comments, and then obviously they were getting blocked. And the comments were going along the lines of that, but obviously when you're engaging in a game, we're not reading the comments, so he's like blocking out the comments while people are trying to guess the catchphrase and that. I can't remember where I was going with it now. So yeah, like the mods basically made that. So what he did was then took that because the comments kept flying in and used Top Girl, who has a bigger platform to stand on, and Alicia alongside him to say, please let me come and explain my side of events because this is being blown out of proportion and people are trying to portray me to be something I'm not. When actually they're portraying.
Who found his name though to search him? That's how did somebody get his name?
I mean, at one point he said his name was Nathaniel, didn't he?
Yeah, he said he said to someone that his name was Nathaniel, and one of the ex-mods.
The commenter saying, Pale, it was no face, no case.
No, I know, Alicia.
I think it was shared to No Face. I don't think No Face found out.
What I'm asking is
something was shared to him.
How No Face got this information. I know he got it off Alicia, But how did it first come out?
He contacted Alicia and said after the live in January. So what happened was, basically, he had been brought a light to the Batman profile, and everything is on the Batman profile. All the all the newspaper clippings, the chat magazine, other things that he's done were on that account, and he'd obviously been made aware to it. So that's when he said to Alicia, "Look, this has been posted. Please help me." And she said, "I can't help you."
It was Batman then. That's
Batman.
Yeah,
was
so
the one
an
that brought
ex-mod
it to
knew
that.
his name and has found out all this shit and has been trying to share it for a long time.
because I know Alicia said when she got this, she tried to search his name, but because he gave two different names.
Yeah, he didn't give anybody his actual name. One name that I know that was given was Nathaniel, but that was it. There was no surname.
That's
there was
his
no
middle
nothing.
name.
Yeah.
Nathaniel's his middle name, and that's what he gave us.
Yeah, so that's it. Nothing was coming up for that. So that's how he plunked himself on Top Girls and tried to tell them his side and a sugar-coated version of what was going on. And then people
I
didn't
say to you, this man was absolutely in tears, like an emotional mess. Like, I felt bad for him. I really did. And I think anyone that would have sat in that live on that day when he was saying his version of events would have really felt for him, because the way that he come across and the tears and the whole thing, it was a good show. It was brilliant.
Ruby, the Emma's coming from his DJ days. I can't remember what his DJ name was. Miss Walters might tell us, but Mantis, that's it.
Even the other day, right, when I was trying to, so his name was spelt wrongly.
Yeah.
With an E, with a Corey with an E. When I tried to search that, couldn't find nothing on him apart from the NHS stuff. And then, where are we going with that? You had to put the headline in of the love rap blinded my ex-girlfriend or whatever. You had to put that in to find it, even knowing his name. I had to put that in before I could find that article. So he wasn't easily found.
Natasha, Pippi said this before. Because you know him off the app and you've been together for years. Is this the way he, speaks all the time?
What, his voice now?
Yeah.
Yeah, God, yeah. Very calming, because remember, he was a DJ. He could control a crowd.
Yeah.
He would be the main man. Everybody would go there because he's playing music. If you see and he used to design flyers. He's very, very good with technology.
Yeah.
He used to design flyers and get paid. And he was the top dogger. He was brilliant at his job.
Yeah.
And so then he was the DJ and he would create the flyers. And if his name was on a flyer, a lot of women are going because, one, forgive me, at the time he was good looking, and two, he plays wicked music and he could make, he just run a club and it was brilliant. And then he's never owned, somebody said, has he ever owned a club? No, he doesn't have enough money.
Is he autistic? If you don't mind me asking, is he autistic?
No, he's extremely clever. God, no. He has a very high IQ. He is planned, calculated. He will see a problem before the problem happens and find a solution, or you'll find a problem in a happy place to make people, what's that thing where you create a problem to create animosity when everything's fine.
Yeah.
He's that type of person. He's not autistic at all. Autistic people can be very clever. I'm not taking away from that, but that man is not autistic.
No, it's not.
I've known him long enough.
It's not. He needed a lot of help with what he was doing.
I was just correcting that. I was going to say, you actually do.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean autistic people can't be clever.
I know.
Sorry, I don't mean that. My sister's heavily autistic and has a lot of issues. So I don't mean that. Just
the
him.
comments were asking, was he autistic? So I don't know if he'd said that or anything.
Oh,
yeah.
No. He's never said that he was autistic. No.
Lady B, hasn't he got something going on with one of his mods now?
I believe so, but I don't want to quote that because I'm not 100% sure. But the way that conversations have happened, the mod in question removed their main account and has made a whole new account, so you won't find Busy on Busy anymore.
As well, just about his persona, you know what I mean? He is a violent man, right? The police, Derbyshire Police and the Derbyshire Times put out an article when he was on the run. He was a wanted man. And they were looking for him, and they asked the public not to approach him because he was a violent man. Now, they don't do that if there's no risk to the public.
Yeah.
From what he's told me, Mozzie is related to him, but I don't believe it's cousin.
Somebody, is it the sister or something?
That's what he told me.
Yeah,
He told me that was his cousin.
He told me his sister.
So is she actually related? That's the question. Well, either way, she runs her Mozzie catchphrase Sundays on Mr. M's platform on Sundays, so they are very well connected.
He's trained her up, he said.
Yeah, that was his words, isn't it? I've trained her to do what I do.
Yeah.
I'll read you this, right? So this is about the hospital. Okay, so Harris was admitted to A&E department after reported being assaulted on the April the 8th, 2020. After being told he was being discharged and needed to leave the hospital, he became abusive. Security staff were called to intervene, and Harris, of no fixed address, coughed, spat, bit and punched them, and the officers were called. He was charged with 3. He got 3 years for that.
Yeah. So the reason he got 3 years, and I'm just repeating his words, so please don't think I'm defending him. His words was, I had 12 different convictions. I couldn't plead guilty to one without pleading guilty to them all. So I pled guilty to them all because that is the plea that was given to me.
And he was told if he did, he would get a lesser sentence, which we all know if he plead guilty, you get a lesser
And that's why he did it, because he knew he was guilty of one, but he couldn't plead not guilty to others. So he pled guilty to all 12 convictions.
I'll read you a bit more on that as well. So, all to do with that. Let me get this off. He coughed and spat at people, the staff and that. He said to the staff, I hope you've said goodbye to your families. This is during COVID. To your families, I've got coronavirus. After punching security staff around various departments, right? At the hearing, they was told how at one stage he lunged towards a nurse in the accident and emergency department. The offence of that morning saw him a spate of him offending, which also him threatened to cut people up. I'm probably going to get things, so I'm going to drop. But that's not a nice man.
No, definitely not. But
so when he told us about the situation with the confetti, he said that he was involved, but because he was not caught with the confetti on him, they couldn't charge him for it. But he was involved, he was there.
Sorry, Bill, just quickly, this is why I joined.
Part, by the way, in the group chat after everything came to light, and he's trying to manipulate people.
Lady B, 1 second. Let us just tell you what French has got to say.
Sorry.
1 second.
Yeah, just before I joined, people in the comments were getting a bit confused about how people can be manipulated over a screen. But it's not just that, it's the fact that people's found a room to go into where it weren't all drama, so people are obviously going to attach themselves to that. So we can't pin the blame onto anyone. None of the ex-mods, none of these who thought they knew the full story, they didn't. And I'm so sorry for Miss Walters for what you've been through. But the only person to blame is Mr. M, Corey Harris, from Derby. We can't keep going around pinning blame on everything.
Exactly. No, I don't blame none of the mods. I'm just saying how manipulative it is.
Yeah, not you. It's just some people in the comments.
How we can control people. And this is what he took everything away from Natasha. When you think about it, he's left her blind.
Natalie, not Natasha Pearl.
You know, he's left Mrs. Walters blind. He's took everything away from her, from her trust to everything, and he's on here building relationships with other people on this app. And it's just, listen, these awarenesses need to be kept going, because he's still there playing games, still trying to spin other ways on it when it's there in black and white in the newspapers, coming out the lady's mouth herself who's saying this. So what more is it for people to believe? What control has this man got over everybody?
This sounds stupid and really pathetic, but looking back on it, but at the time, We were so invested in getting this hat. Like,
What is a hat?
it sounds stupid. It's a fucking picture, Pearl. It's a picture.
It's a code. It is a picture of whatever. I've got a picture. Right, I've got a picture. So if you subbed, you got given a picture. I don't know if anyone noticed before, the picture Jess used to have. That was her sub picture. Basically, once you've subbed, you get that picture. And then what you do is you compete in the game. And what you have to do to win a hat is you have to take on all the hats that have already won a hat and knock them out of the box, basically, to get to the top of the game.
Like, the competition was such a buzz. Like I said, me and Lady B was rivals in that game. Like, we knocked each other out constantly.
Like, we were meant to go against the hats, and I took her out and took the hats on my own. That's how much of a competition it was made, you know.
And it sounds stupid, but until you're in it, I don't think you quite understand. Michelle's here as well, and you have to use that picture when you're in the room.
He would make a comment of you're not in uniform, go get your uniform on. And you have to get back with the picture.
Somebody else has said it's a feeling of belonging. That's what we got. It's not mean like we was part of the
Michelle
group.
was in the chat down there, yeah. Michelle,
Michelle, do you want to request the box, please? And the mods will put you in. Thank you.
And like I say, a lot of us have gone through DV, and a lot of us...
So how many mods has left him then?
I don't know, because I blocked him straight away.
I left. I don't. I know that Selena left. That they all, obviously, the ones that left beforehand and that left. I think, from what I know, like one of the girls, she is very, very vulnerable, and that you'll agree with me, Jess, Chanel, and she's only recently become part of the game, like in the past 2 weeks, and he's managed to draw her in, and she is sticking by him.
But when we had this group chat, that, do you know what I mean? There was people there saying he got so much time because he's black. Her pictures look worse because of Snapchat filters. Do you know what I mean? Like the stuff that these people are coming out with. I had this conversation with Lady B earlier. And I cannot blame these people. Sorry.
So you can make a photograph with filters that can make you be blind, basically.
Yeah, well, this is what they're saying, but me and Lady B had this conversation. We feel sorry for them.
Yes, 1 minute. Does anybody know Bernie Gilmore? They're asking for the box. Does anybody know? Has this got anything to do with this?
No, I have never heard of Bernie Gilmore. No.
Sorry, Michelle, were you a mod?
No, I wasn't a mod. I was just
Can I just finish what I was saying quickly? Sorry.
Right, go on, Jess, go on.
We kind of feel sorry for the people that are still there because they've not woken up yet. But at the same time, if they continue to stick by him, we're done with them. And this is what me and Lady B was discussing earlier.
100%. That's what we were saying when I was live earlier. We brought one of the mods in and asked.
What do you mean? I've had 4 days, Stacey. I found it on Friday.
Michelle, have her word first, please. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I haven't really got much to do with it. I didn't sub to him. Although last night when I checked on his, I had a notification to say that he invited me to the game. And when I looked at it, I thought, well, I've unfollowed him, but I was actually gifted a sub. So I've denied that now, and I don't want anything to do with the game. But when he was playing last night, and I was watching it not live, but from your page, for your page, and the amount of women that's sticking by him, all those mods and hats, I can't believe it.
Like I say, he's just here, he's out, he's manipulating everybody, he's scamming everybody, and he's trying to turn everything around onto Mrs. Walters. And listen, the proof's in front of you. I don't know what more proof. And then he's saying he's got this other evidence to come out that somebody was paid for knowing about everything, a heap of shit. Because when all of this kicked off, he would have come straight away forward with that. So he's a barefaced liar, and I don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. Alex said, don't box Bernie. Oh, sorry.
I remember the once I was in a game, and you got to shout out your numbers to guess the image, and he gave us such a row because we were all shouting at the same time. I didn't want to play after that. I thought, well, he is controlling.
So has he got your phone number or anything like that, Michelle?
Oh God, no.
Right. Yeah. Is there anybody else that's had anything to do with him in the chat that's away from him now or not?
Netflix. She did. I don't know if you want to come up Netflix, but Netflix was a big part of the game for a long time, and that. So,
if you've got anything to, no, I mean, if he's like doing anything nice
still in the chat.
Who? Sorry, my king.
Serena. She was the one who helped build the game with him, and something to do with the NDAs. She was.
I was just about to say Serena.
I don't know if she's still here though.
If anybody's anything to do with it, just put me and I'll ask them who yous are, because I don't know any of this, that's all.
I'm going to talk anyway. Thanks for having me up. Miss Waters, you're so brave. The whole app is so proud of you for doing this.
Yeah, with
Soon, bye.
Diamond, he had a lot of kids playing in the game. My son used to play, and he actually did a kids game as well.
One played. So yeah, honestly, I've only time I ever seen him was on. He come onto my platform, and then I seen him on Top Girl's platform, and that was as much as I had to do with him. But like I say, from the couple of times I'd ever spoke to him, he had you hooked. Like, you were thinking, God, what an interesting person you are, because everybody's interested to me. I'm not a full shilling, but very sly, like a little sewer rat. That's the only thing that I can say. But if there's anybody else that's got any anything to say, who's had any dealings with him, if he was phoning you off, he was on Mrs. Red's live once before. Yeah, I remember that time, yeah. So he got himself around the app, and that's what I said, God knows who he's got, like, hooked already, and all of these need to be done to make people aware of just how dangerous this man is. Well, he's not a man, like I say, sewer rat. But anyways, so has anybody else got anything different to bring to this or not? He was on Rebecca C's live too. Wow. Yeah, he's brainwashed people, exactly. Who we talking about, Mr. M. Where there's somebody... Bernie, you can't come in. I don't know anybody else. DJ had him on the other week. We've all had him on our platforms, that's what I said, very sly.
Well, he targeted the bigger creators to be able to build his platform. That's what he's done. He's used the bigger creators and gone on there and showcased his game, and it's all looked hunky-dory and people have been drawn in, and that's how he's built his platform.
Yeah. But anyways.
When the creator was on live, we was made to go in and go spam their comments till he got in.
I used to think, get effort to get a follow list down. Jump back in, my chippy. I haven't got a clue what you're on about. There he is.
Where's Alex gone?
It's because I used a good word in it.
Oh, right. Where has Alex gone?
I just think the objective now is to get his following list back to zero if possible. That man needs deplatforming. He can't be allowed to run around here making out to people he's some great guy with a great game, with a great attitude to life. It's bollocks. The man's a fraud. Yeah. And I think everybody should be reposting everything about him, making people aware as much as possible, and keep talking about it. Don't let it just drop. You know, try and put people off it.
There's plenty of us, my chippy, for like, I have done it today, somebody for to do it tomorrow, and do it at a certain time. So
I'm going to come on in the morning after the school run and do another awareness. I did it this morning. I'm going to continue to do it as well until people know.
Even if it's people, even if it means working with people you don't like.
Exactly. Listen, when it's to get an absolute little sewer rat off the app like this, if you speak to somebody or not, you can put your differences aside till this is sorted out. Yeah. Because if not, he could get somebody else in close quarters like he has with Mrs. Walters here, and look at her, she's left with lifelong injuries.
Yeah.
So it's not just like somebody who's saying bad things or whatever. He's done actual harm, and God knows what else could be going on.
Me and Lady B was told earlier to stop talking about it by one of his mods and hats that are still involved with him, and we've basically turned around and said we're not.
Here's a message to all of his mods. Get stuffed.
Yeah.
How's that? Do something about it. You're going to do nothing about it.
We will always keep talking about it. Like Courtney, do you want to jump up? Courtney's got a F-page, she'll talk about it.
Yeah, drop down, Pearl. Thanks, Miss Walters.
But Chippy, thank you very much for coming up. And like I say, just everybody keep on continuing talking about them and make people aware. If it's one person a day, that's like a new person getting made aware to keep away from this sewer rat, well done to everybody. Pearl, when I am playing the phrase, they would come over and ask where I'd bought you, please.
Can I just say as well, thank you to Chippy for actually listening to me and passing me on to Alex, because that's how I've got a lot of this exposure out.
Mm-hmm. No, well done to everybody who's bringing it forward, been talking about it. Well done. But it's it needs speaking about, like I say, across all the app. It needs, and the more you speak about it, the more platforms is going to hear about it. So it's going to end up being a massive like awareness constantly all the time about them. And you know, if you're in lives and nobody's speaking about anything, like prompt them in the comments, like to say, "Can I come up and speak about this?" Because that's what it needs. It needs it to be kept going and not let like go cold sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Does anyone know?
The poo situation, and I feel so bad for everyone that's been brought in, and that I honestly, I've questioned my existence the past couple of days and that, because I was so sucked in, and as someone that's a survivor of something pretty similar as well to Miss Waters, other than I have my eyesight and that, like, I genuinely can't believe I was so naive.
He's saying his following's gone up, hasn't it?
His following, I think, has gone down from what people said. He's lost 700, I think someone just said.
Oh, well done to everybody. Well done. And like I say, every time like you see him, do something about it. We all need to stick together as exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I will speak about it whenever, but there's plenty of platforms where we can all keep speaking about this. Because he's a monster and a little sewer rat. And he's definitely not a man. 1,000,000% he's not a man.
Yeah. I'm going to go because my battery's about to go flat, but can I just say, Miss Walters, big up to you, love. Like, you've done so well.
Exactly.
And Lady B, love you, girl. And Pearl, thank you for giving us all a voice.
Yeah, well, we've done what we needed to do. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is, and we've put it out there. I don't care if people want to try and slander me. Like, I've fully admitted that I did stick by him at the beginning, and I did my research, and I learned the hard way, and that's the same way them other mods are going to learn. They're going to learn the hard way. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
And
another message to his mods: carry on inboxing me. I do not give a fuck.
Same,
Your threats, I do not care. Love you all. I'm going.
That speaks volumes about them, not yous, because they're still trying to get some poor, vulnerable people in close quarters with them. So yous mods who keep inboxing these lasses, shame on yous. Absolute shame on yous.
I'm going to go as well now, Pearl, because my tea's ready. But thank you for giving us the opportunity.
I'm going to shut this down myself, but I just want to say a big, big thank you to everybody who will keep speaking about this. We'll keep it going, and like I say, every day it doesn't want one day of him not getting spoke about and let off the hook, because he's just a sewer rat, you know. Exactly. But Mrs. Walters and Lady B, I just want to say a great big thank yous to you anytime at all, anytime. Come up and speak about it. But listen, I do wish you the best of everything to go your way, me baby, in life, because he's took away your eyesight. And listen, we don't know whatever else he's took away from you. But just be strong, and you're still a beautiful, beautiful young woman, and just do not let this little sewer rat ever stop you from speaking out and being you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everybody that has listened to it, and everybody that's unfollowed him, and everybody that just sees him for what he actually is. And for his mods that still stay with him, I hope it never happens to any of their children or people they know, because they'll be the first people in line to drop from them. And was it the lady earlier, Candy or some, I don't know what her name was.
Curly cat.
That's it. She's okay. You're straight Jamaican. I'm half Jamaican. There's no way in Jamaica that if someone done that to her or her friends and family, that she would have the same opinion. Her friends, family, brother will be the first in line to
do the same back. Do the same back. There's an eye for an eye there.
But she wants to say what she's saying. That's okay. There's a lot of people that stay on this side. I really don't care. I don't care. It's been 10 years. I really don't care about this man. I just wanted to iron out the lies that he's told about what I said anyway.
And so you should back on whenever you want, if you want to do so. Yeah, and you know I'm always there for you in the inbox if ever you need to talk.
Thank you.
Listen, you'll always have our support. Always. We'll never stop supporting. But big up to you, anyways.
Big up to you as well, pal. Thank you.
No, well done, girls, and I really mean that. Well done to everybody who's doing something to speak about this. And like I say, my platform can get used any time at all. If anybody's got anything new, what he's been doing, what he's been saying, anybody new going into the groups, you can always welcome to come up and keep making people aware of what's going on. Keep him in the limelight, don't let it shut down. But please, I beg on you, don't listen to his lies. Like, the proof's there in front of you. Like, he's took a young, beautiful woman's eyesight away. And like I say, we'll never know whatever else is took away from that. But don't let him do it to anybody else.
They can't get in touch with you right away, Pearl. They can always message me.
Yes, exactly. Yes, you can always message King of Kings if you need to get a message anywhere. There's plenty of people that you can, but all these big platforms, just please keep going around and ask them if you can come on and speak about it. Keep it going. He was charged 6 months ago. This has been going on for like 10 years. So it's
Miss Walters. Really
it's deeper than anybody knows. Let me just say that to you. But yes, well done to you, my baby. And like I say, just be very, very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But we always here if you need us, right?
Hopefully I won't need for anything else. I live a good life now.
Good. That's nice to hear you.
The backlash of this from him, who knows, but I'm really not bothered by what you're doing.
The thing is, just come back and let us know, and we'll just see what we can do something about it.
Yeah.
Right? Well done to you, honestly, and I do wish you all the luck in the world and the best of health and happiness to you.
Thank you.
And don't worry, we've always got your back.
Such a strange feeling. But yeah, thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. You have a lovely rest of your weekend as well.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Now, bye. Oh. So yes, thank you everybody for just being here and showing support. And I know there was the odd silly little comment in there, but you can gather where they've come from. Just thank you everybody, honestly, because it needs everybody to come together, not just like a half a dozen people. It needs everybody to start and speak, and then he might go away to the sewer where he belongs. Like, we don't want him on here. And listen, you don't have to thank me. It's just nice when people are coming in and listen on your platform what's being said. But anybody who has got anything at all, please message King of Kings, because you know I don't answer any messages. And I just want to say thank you very, very much, and well done to everybody, right? Right, listen, I'm going to go because there's an Indian on its way for us and I'm starving. And then it's shower time and the old nether regions getting a wash. Ready for work tomorrow, me babbies?
Good evening then, my babby.
Hey, my king, thank you, me baby, honestly. And I'm sure I'll be floating about the app later on. I'll put my little input. And I was going to say big up for the mushrooms as well while we're on the subject. If you know. Right, see you all later, everybody. And I'll see you through the week. And I'm sure I'll pass you in a live, right? So big love, everybody. Thank you for joining in. See you later. Bye. Bye.